Look at this thing.
This is what's known as a tumulus.
A tumulus.
It's a tomb cut into the summit of a hill.
Literally cut into the top of the hill.
That's right.
For centuries, the Etruscan civilization has remained one of the most enigmatic and mysterious cultures to have ever existed. Predating even the Roman Empire, this civilization left behind intricate tombs, cryptic artifacts, and ancient ruins that have baffled archaeologists for generations. Until now, their secrets seem to be buried with them. Recently, a shocking discovery was made deep within the ruins of an ancient Etruscan city, and it's unlike anything anyone could have predicted. Imagine stepping into a tomb where time itself seems to have stopped. Dusty chambers filled with ancient relics, walls painted with mysterious frescoes, and eerie silence that whispers of a forgotten world. Every stone holds secrets of a civilization that thrived long before Rome. But what if one of those tombs held something far more terrifying than anyone could have imagined? What could possibly lie beneath the ancient burial grounds of the Etruscans? Join us on this thrilling adventure with Josh Gates as he discovers something terrifying at the Etruscan ruins during the latest edition of Expedition Unknown. Tumulus Tombs, Early Mausoleums. In his latest adventure, Josh Gates explores a tumulus, delving into the fascinating ruins of the Etruscans, a civilization that lived in ancient Etruria in what is now Italy. A tumulus, an artificial mound made of earth and stones, serves as a remarkable testament to humanity's age-old relationship with death and memory. These burial mounds not only fulfill a practical purpose, but also honor and commemorate the deceased. The word tumulus comes from Latin, meaning mound or small hill, with its root tum, implying to bulge or to swell. Related terms in English, such as tomb, thumb, and tumor, reflect this connection to elevation and enclosure. The practice of constructing tumuli dates back to the Neolithic period, if not earlier. Ancient peoples buried their dead and then erected these mounds as a way to mark the grave.
That's right. There's room for two on each side here to be laid out. Each tomb has its own particularities.
In some cultures, a stone or wooden chamber was first constructed to house the body, creating a rudimentary mausoleum that would be covered with soil or sod. In areas where cremation was common, tumuli would sometimes contain the ashes of the deceased, emphasizing their multifunctional role in burial practices across various societies. The tumulus tombs that Gates and his team are exploring are more than just a burial site.
Yeah, so this is kind of loose debris on top.
They stand as a grand example of the Etruscans' advanced building skills and their deep reverence for family and tradition. Unlike the plain tombs used by many ancient cultures, this tumulus is a carefully built mound that serves as a family burial ground. Its unique design highlights the Etruscans' focus on social status, family connections, and the significance of ancestry. By examining this remarkable structure, we gain valuable insights into the values, beliefs, and customs of a civilization that thrived in what we now know as modern Italy. But there's more to the story. The main tomb inside the tumulus, often the most intricately decorated, was usually set aside for the family leader or the founder of the lineage. This practice reveals how much the Etruscans valued family and heritage, showcasing their respect for their ancestors and their desire to honor them across generations. The detailed designs and the effort invested in these tombs reflect the Etruscans' strong beliefs about the afterlife. They felt their ancestors deserved a resting place that reflected their importance and contributions during their lives. As Gates wanders around, he sees tombs etched into the hillside, culminating in a grand main tomb.
Filled up and overgrown.
This is a good example of what the tombs look like when we first encountered them.
Likely reserved for the family's leader or the founder of a dynasty, a place of great honor and respect. As they enter the tumulus, Gates and his companions stroll along its towering walls, admiring the various doorways cut into the stone. A significant passageway leads into the main tomb, clearly crafted at the hill's summit. Builders added large stone blocks to enhance the structure, giving it a majestic appearance that commands attention. This tumulus truly embodies the idea of a monumental resting place. Gates reflects on how this tomb feels like the perfect, final resting spot for a powerful figure. He learns that the main passageway they are about to enter holds the remains of a formidable leader from the 7th century BC. As they duck through the intricately carved stone passages, they notice artistic carvings on the walls, depicting scenes from daily life in that era. The carvings showcase a variety of scenes, capturing everything from the everyday activities of common folk to the grand rituals that marked significant events in Etruscan life. These artistic details highlight the Etruscans' careful attention to detail and their talent for using art to tell stories. Through these carvings, they were able to pass down their traditions and preserve their rich culture for future generations, offering us a glimpse into their world. The tomb features beautifully crafted columns, adding a regal touch to the resting place of this important individual from centuries past. Gates is awestruck by how magnificent these tombs must have appeared when they were first constructed, especially considering their endurance over the ages. Gates' guide, David, shares a vivid vision of the area in its prime. He describes how these ancient tombs would proudly sit atop the hills in the necropolis.
It's a tomb cut into the summit of a hill.
Literally cut into the top of the hill.
That's right.
Overlooking the city of the living. They stand as monuments to a rich past, while humanity moves forward into the future. One such hilltop remains in Cerveteri, Italy, where time has worn its stones, but not erased its beauty. Here, the tombs feature stone walls and ceilings crafted to resemble wooden beams, with benches, long hallways, and intricate reliefs adorning the surfaces. A remarkable carving of a book on a nightstand reveals that the Etruscans valued literature in their society. These tombs, much like those in Tarquinia, along with the ancient sewers beneath the city, have been looted over the years. Yet, some treasures remain, including sculptures and artifacts that once filled these sacred spaces. For instance, 2 griffins guard the entrance to one tomb, symbolizing the high status of the person buried within. As Josh takes in the surroundings, he marvels, declaring that this tomb is truly fit for a king.
These guys are advanced enough that they're building stuff like this?
Yeah, they're the most advanced culture in Central Italy, definitely in terms of engineering.
Inside an Etruscan tumulus. Walking through the corridors of an Etruscan tumulus is like stepping back in time, surrounded by a remarkable blend of artistry and engineering. The Etruscans, renowned for their architectural prowess, meticulously carved the tomb's passageways, showcasing an advanced understanding of building techniques. The precision of these corridors reveals not just their technical skill, but also their deep respect for the deceased, for whom these tombs were carefully designed. With high ceilings, elaborately decorated walls, and intricate carvings, the interiors of these burial mounds reflect a society that placed significant importance on the afterlife, underscoring their belief in maintaining a lasting cultural legacy. One of the most striking features of the tumulus is the presence of carved columns and other architectural elements, which give the tomb an almost regal atmosphere. These design choices create a solemn, sacred space, emphasizing the grandeur and sanctity of the final resting place. The Etruscans clearly believed that these tombs were not merely graves, but enduring monuments that symbolize their connection to the spiritual realm and their place in the broader story of their civilization. Beyond its structural marvels, the tumulus holds another key element that speaks volumes about Etruscan society: its strategic location. Perched atop hills, these monumental tombs were deliberately placed in highly visible spots, ensuring that they would be seen from miles away. This placement was no accident. The Etruscans were fully aware of the significance of geography, and by positioning their tombs at such vantage points, they ensured that these structures would serve as enduring reminders of the deceased's family status and influence. The visibility of these tombs from afar was a subtle but constant reinforcement of the family's legacy, asserting their prominence in both life and death. Moreover, this thoughtful placement reflects the Etruscans' ability to harmonize their architecture with the natural landscape, blending human-made structures seamlessly into their surroundings. This mastery of landscape and architecture speaks to their sophisticated understanding of the environment and its symbolic importance. As archaeologists like Gates and his team continue to explore these tumuli, they uncover a wealth of artifacts that offer fascinating insights into Etruscan life.
Had been looted. We have some objects and some sculptures from inside, for instance.
These treasures range from pottery and tools used in everyday life to more personal belongings, such as jewelry or ceremonial items. Each artifact tells a unique story, offering clues about the customs, beliefs, and daily routines of the Etruscan people. The discovery of such objects provides a tangible link to the past, allowing us to better understand how this ancient civilization lived and interacted with their world. Among the most revealing finds are the pottery pieces, which hold clues not just about the Etruscans' daily habits, but also about their artistic flair and cultural connections. These pottery items, often adorned with intricate designs and motifs, show remarkable attention to detail, blending functionality with visual appeal. Some were likely used in ceremonies, while others were part of everyday life, yet all were crafted with an artistic touch that highlights the Etruscans' aesthetic sensibilities. What's more, the diversity in pottery styles and materials hints at the Etruscans' extensive trade connections. Certain designs show clear influences from neighboring cultures, suggesting that the Etruscans were engaged in a vibrant exchange of goods and ideas. This interaction with other cultures not only enriched their artistic traditions, but also points to the central role the Etruscans played in the wider Mediterranean world. One of the most fascinating discoveries inside the tumulus is a seemingly ordinary human tooth. Though small and easy to overlook, this tiny artifact carries a treasure trove of information about the Etruscan people. From a single tooth, researchers can learn about the Etruscans' health, their daily diet, and the challenges they faced. It even offers clues about their genetic links to other ancient cultures. By studying this tooth closely, scientists can uncover how the Etruscans lived, what they ate, and how they interacted with neighboring civilizations. These seemingly simple finds become key to unlocking the mysteries of an ancient society, giving us a deeper, richer understanding of their world. The quest for Etruscan secrets. Despite many discoveries, much about the Etruscans remains a mystery. To truly grasp who they were and why the Romans eventually overpowered them, archaeologists need to explore untouched tombs, places that still hold secrets from the past. However, finding these hidden sites is no easy task. Many are buried deep beneath the earth, or hidden by thick vegetation, making them nearly impossible to locate. This challenge underscores the importance of using advanced technology in archaeology. With new tools and methods, researchers have the exciting potential to uncover more about this ancient civilization, revealing the depth and beauty of a long-forgotten world. David, visibly excited, introduces Gates to three of his colleagues, Forrest, Lauren, and Natalie. This isn't the first time Gates has worked with this team. He's had some unforgettable experiences with them on earlier projects. Today, they've brought along a special tool, a LiDAR drone, which can scan dense forests much faster than any human could on foot. Forrest Briggs explains that the drone will scan around 250 acres in just 50 minutes, a task that would take years if done manually. As they prepare for the scan, Gates reflects on the Etruscans, noting that the more they uncover, the more fascinating this ancient civilization becomes. The Etruscans were politically savvy, had extensive trade networks, and were innovators of their time. Despite their remarkable achievements, history has largely forgotten them, with only a few of their contributions surviving in modern memory. David then makes a bold statement. Around 500 BC, the Etruscans, not the Romans, were the most influential civilization in Italy. However, their division into independent city-states and internal rivalries may have ultimately led to their downfall. Once the drone finishes its sweep, the team eagerly gathers to analyze the data, hoping to uncover hidden tombs that have been untouched for over 3,000 years. These tombs could contain invaluable inscriptions and artifacts, shedding light on the Etruscan language and culture. But as the computer processes the data, it reveals no new tombs in the area. A wave of disappointment ripples through the team, highlighting a common challenge in archaeology: the difficulty of discovering fresh, undisturbed sites that can unlock new historical insights. Meanwhile, in another area, Gates and his team investigate a small coffin unearthed in a recently discovered burial shaft. The tiny coffin, remarkably well preserved, is believed to hold the remains of an infant.
And the badly damaged mummy of a child, interred here in a simple coffin.
The child's family, likely unable to afford their own tomb, had chosen to place the remains on the outskirts of a wealthier burial site near offerings, in hopes of securing safe passage to the afterlife. As they carefully excavate around the coffin, a sudden sandstorm kicks up, forcing most of the team to retreat to a tent for shelter. Despite the harsh conditions, Gates and a few others remain outside, determined to protect the fragile coffin. They manage to uncover a piece of gold jewelry and several pieces of ancient pottery, including a jug decorated with faint patterns. These precious finds are quickly moved into the tent, safe from the storm's fury. Inside the tent, the team is met with a troubling sight. The coffin, already fragile, has deteriorated further due to moisture. They quickly don masks to shield themselves from the potential dangers of ancient spores and dust. As they carefully lift the lid, the coffin reveals a small, delicate skeleton. The remains, poorly preserved, show clear signs of water damage. Yet, among the bones, they spot something remarkable.
Top of the skull here, coming into view. Look at his mouth, look at the preservation.
A tiny ivory earring, a clue that the child was likely a girl cherished by her family. Despite the storm raging outside, they painstakingly gather turquoise beads from a scattered necklace, treasures that will be conserved and studied. The linen wrappings still clinging to the fragile bones confirm that the girl had been mummified, a sign of her importance within the community. As the winds begin to settle, the team receives word from another section of the burial site they are exploring. The excavation has revealed the entrance to an upper chamber, and efforts are underway to widen the opening. There's an eager determination to delve deeper into the ancient structure.
My God!
Wonderful, huh?
Are you kidding me?
During their digging, the team uncovers an old container. Its exact purpose is a mystery. Was it dropped by accident or intentionally left behind? Could it be ceremonial artifacts, personal belongings, or perhaps nothing at all? The site itself has been remarkably well preserved, showing little sign of disturbance over time. This untouched nature hints that the most significant part of the burial site likely lies deeper below. Near the entrance, they discover small fragments of linen, likely discarded during ancient mummification rituals. These bits of cloth serve as a quiet reminder of the once bustling activity in this sacred burial ground, where life and death were closely intertwined. Now it's time for today's subscriber pick. The group moved cautiously through the narrow passageways, their footsteps echoing in the oppressive silence of the ancient Etruscan tomb. Elena, an expert in ancient civilizations, led the way, her flashlight beam dancing over carvings of long-forgotten gods. The air was heavy with dust, and the scent of stone that hadn't been touched in centuries. As they descended deeper into the ruins, a sense of unease crept over them. Something felt off.
Oh, wow, Josh, look over here.
What do you have?
There's just bone everywhere here.
Josh Gates discovered something terrifying at the Etruscan ruins during Expedition Unknown, Elena said with a nervous chuckle, breaking the tension, though no one responded. The rest of the team felt it too. This wasn't just another archaeological dig. Reaching a grand chamber, they halted in awe. At the center stood an enormous stone altar, but it wasn't the intricate carvings or artifacts that caught their attention. A large gaping hole had opened in the floor, revealing a hidden chamber below. From the darkness below, a faint rhythmic hum reverberated through the stone. It was unlike any sound Elena had ever heard. Suddenly, the torches lining the chamber walls flickered to life, without warning or explanation. Shadows twisted unnaturally in the firelight, creating grotesque forms on the walls. A strange force seemed to pull at them, dragging their focus toward the hole. Then came a whisper, soft but unmistakable. It spoke in a language no one understood, yet the meaning was clear. They were not welcome here. Something ancient and angry was stirring beneath them. Pioneers of ancient Italy. Josh Gates and his team's exploration of the Etruscan tumulus on Expedition Unknown offers more than just an adrenaline-pumping adventure. It's a journey into the heart of Etruscan civilization.
And this was a big Etruscan city, right?
One of the most important Etruscan cities.
Known to the Greeks as Tyrrhenians, the Etruscans remain somewhat mysterious, especially in terms of their origins and language. Unlike other ancient populations, their language does not belong to the Indo-European family. Instead, it was a unique 26-letter adaptation of the Greek alphabet, but we still struggle to fully understand the Etruscan language, as there are no comparable languages for study. This mysterious tongue has left scholars wondering, who were the Etruscans really? There are several theories about the origins of the Etruscans. One legend suggests that they came from Asia Minor, led by a figure named Tyrrhenus, who sailed to Italy with his people. Others believe the Etruscans were indigenous to the Italian peninsula, descendants of the Villanovans,
Ruled by wealthy families that come to dominate the Italian peninsula.
the earliest representatives of the Iron Age in Italy. Some scholars even propose that the Etruscans may have originated from the distant north. However, modern archaeological and historical research places their beginnings around the 8th and 7th centuries BCE. During this period, their society and economy developed autonomously in regions now known as Tuscany, Umbria, and northern Lazio, areas historically called Etruria. Though influenced by the Greek colonies in southern Italy, the Etruscans formed their own distinct civilization. they never unified into a single state, but rather remained a collection of independent city-states.
Etruscans created a dozen of city-states, independent, like the cities of ancient Greek.
Their only significant form of unity was a league of 12 cities, which served primarily religious purposes.
12 individual city-states that form an Etruscan league.
Etruscan society was aristocratic, with power concentrated in the hands of wealthy landowners and merchants. Their expansion was ambitious, but they faced major setbacks in the 6th and 5th centuries BCE. One such defeat occurred in 530 BCE when the Etruscans lost a naval battle to the Phocians, Greek refugees from Phocia, who had settled in Corsica and Sardinia. Even with an alliance with the Carthaginians, the Etruscans were no match for the superior seafaring skills of their Greek rivals. Later, in 474 BCE, the Greeks of Syracuse halted Etruscan expansion into southern Italy after a decisive battle at Cumae. Religion played a central role in Etruscan society, and their beliefs bore a striking resemblance to those of the Greeks. Just as Zeus was the supreme deity in Greek mythology, the Etruscans worshipped Tinia, a god often depicted with a thunderbolt, similar to Zeus. They believed strongly in the afterlife, with tombs serving as extensions of the deceased's living quarters, often filled with food, drink, and symbols of their social status. The Etruscans also placed great importance on interpreting the will of the gods, often through examining the entrails of sacrificed animals, believing that these organs mirrored the universe and offered divine answers. Today, most of the surviving Etruscan texts are brief and formulaic, consisting mainly of names, religious calendars, and legal documents outlining property boundaries. However, archaeological remains, such as those from the Etruscan city of Tarquinia, provide significant insights into their culture. Their tombs, often carved into the rock or built with stone, were decorated with frescoes depicting daily life and divine scenes, reflecting Greek influences in their art and architecture.
Romans conquered the Greeks, borrowing their gods, building on their culture, and evolving into a powerhouse.
The Etruscans were skilled builders, particularly known for their use of the arch, which later influenced Roman architecture. Economically, they thrived through agriculture, metallurgy, and crafts, excelling in the production of ceramics and the mining of copper and iron. Their wealth was further enhanced by their access to fertile lands and rich mineral deposits, as well as their strategic proximity to the sea, which allowed for maritime dominance.
The Etruscans were adept seafarers and traded all over the known world from Egypt to the Baltic.
However, two major events contributed to the Etruscans' decline. The first was the Roman conquest of the significant Etruscan city of Veii in 396 BCE. The second was the loss of their territories in the Po Valley to the Gauls. By the 3rd century BCE, Etruria had progressively fallen under Roman control. Interestingly, many historians suggest that early Rome itself was originally an Etruscan settlement.
To most people, Rome has always been here. It's called the Eternal City, after all.
Etruscan involvement in Rome's development is evident in various aspects, including the construction of the Roman sewer system. Additionally, the last Roman kings, including Tarquinius Priscus and Tarquinius Superbus, were of Etruscan origin. These rulers contributed significantly to the city's development, overseeing public works such as the famous Circus Maximus. While the Etruscan civilization ultimately declined with the rise of Rome, its influence on Roman culture and society was profound, leaving an indelible mark on the ancient world. The global significance of Tumuli. Globally, burial mounds are a significant part of cultural heritage. In East Asia, tumuli are abundant. For example, the Gaya Tumuli, ancient burial mounds from the Gaya Kingdom, offer a fascinating window into Korea's hidden past. Recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in September 2023, these mounds are scattered across South Korea's southern region, particularly in South Gyeongsang Province. There are around 1,500 tumuli in this area alone, each providing valuable insight into the Gaya Kingdom, which thrived between the 1st and 6th centuries. The Gaya Kingdom was a confederation of city-states located between the powerful Silla and Baekje kingdoms. It engaged in active trade with neighboring regions like Japan, which influenced its culture and economy. The burial mounds, ranging from modest hillocks to impressive earthworks, reflect the kingdom's complex social hierarchy. Larger mounds, with multiple chambers, suggest they belonged to rulers or nobles. while smaller ones may have housed the remains of lower-ranking individuals. Inside these mounds, archaeologists have uncovered an array of artifacts: bronze weapons, pottery, glass beads, and intricate jewelry, all of which reveal the Gaia people's craftsmanship and wealth. Despite extensive research and excavations, many questions remain unanswered. Much like the Etruscan tumuli in Italy, these burial mounds continue to mystify historians and archaeologists alike, adding an element of intrigue to the Gaia kingdom's legacy. The Mozu Tumuli, located in Japan's Osaka prefecture, form one of the most impressive and puzzling archaeological sites in the country. These ancient burial mounds, known as kofun, were built between the 3rd and 6th centuries during the Kofun period, a time when Japan's ruling elite established their power and influence. The Mozu Tumuli, together with the nearby Furichi cluster, contain 44 surviving mounds, although there were once over 100 before urban development led to their destruction. These mounds vary in size and shape, ranging from simple circular or square designs to large keyhole-shaped tombs, the most distinctive and prestigious form of kofun. The most prominent tombs in the Mozu cluster are the mausolea of Emperor Nintoku and Emperor Richu, which showcase the grandeur of this burial tradition. The massive scale of these kofun is notable, often encircled by moats and accompanied by secondary tombs, emphasizing their connection to the socio-political hierarchy of the era. These monumental structures not only served as the final resting places of emperors and aristocrats, but also symbolized the political power and unity of the regions under their rule. In 2019, the Mozu Furuichi Kofun Group was recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This designation underscores their cultural and historical significance as a testament to the ancient architectural and ceremonial practices of Japan. The Mozu Tumuli remain a fascinating window into Japan's ancient past, offering insight into its early political systems and societal structures. One of the most significant tumuli is the Casta tomb in Greece. The Casta tomb, also known as the Amphipolis tomb, stands as a monumental discovery in northern Greece. Unearthed near the ancient city of Amphipolis, this grand tumulus dates to the late 4th century BC, dwarfing even the tomb of Philip II of Macedon in Vergina. First partially excavated in the 1960s and further explored in the 1970s, it wasn't until 2012 that archaeologists discovered the inner tomb, sparking significant interest. By 2014, the world was captivated as more of the tomb's mysteries were revealed, including its intricate design and the skeletal remains of 5 individuals. At first, some believed the tomb might belong to Alexander the Great due to its size and artistic merit. However, historical records suggest Alexander was laid to rest in Alexandria, Egypt. Still, Amphipolis had strong ties to Alexander's family. His campaigns were prepared there, and it was the place where his wife Roxana and their son Alexander IV were exiled and later murdered. As such, scholars speculate that the tomb may belong to a close relative or significant figure from Alexander's life. Among the remains discovered, a woman over 60, 2 men aged 35 to 45, a newborn, and cremated bone fragments have been identified. Some experts suggest the tomb could be a memorial to Hephaestion, Alexander's closest friend, based on inscriptions bearing his name. Others propose that Olympias, Alexander's mother, could be buried here. With such rich historical connections, the Casta tomb remains one of Greece's most intriguing archaeological finds. Its elaborate construction suggests it housed individuals of great importance, perhaps royalty. Similarly, the royal mounds of Gamla Uppsala in Sweden, dating back to the 5th and 6th centuries, are thought to be burial sites for high-status individuals, although their identities remain largely speculative. Across the United States, Native American cultures also contributed to the tumulus tradition with their effigy mounds, some shaped like animals. Over 3,200 of these have been identified in the upper Midwest, alongside various types like conical, ridgetop, and platform mounds. In modern Turkey, the Comagene tumulus on Mount Nemrut stands out with its colossal sculptures and grand burial site, topped by a column bearing an eagle. Similarly, Lydian tumuli in the Eshme district of Uşak province reveal a rich archaeological history, although many were plundered in the late 1960s. Ancient Slavic barrow sites and Thracian burial mounds also invite exploration, with Indian mounds in North America reflecting a continuing tradition of honoring the dead. Even today, the practice has not vanished entirely. In the UK, the All Cannings Barrow, a Neolithic-style tumulus, was constructed in 2014. Designed with multiple chambers for cremation urns, its popularity underscores a modern revival of ancient customs. Tumulus Tombs remind us of the enduring human impulse to honor our ancestors. They serve not only as burial sites, but as cultural markers, linking us to our past and enriching our understanding of how societies throughout history have navigated the profound themes of life and death. How do ancient tumuli, like those of the Etruscans, help us preserve and understand the cultural heritage of early civilizations? Let us know your opinion in the comments below.